Hi everyone, I just wanted to do a video. This won't necessarily be a layout update video because I haven't done really anything on the layout since the last video. I've mainly been working on the number 12 and some other little components and equipment like details. But I wanted to do a video just to update the status of the number 12, which it's nearing completion here, and I also want to just do an operation video and take advantage of the fact that I've got enough track down to start operations, and the number 5 is pretty much complete, and I've programmed the sound in that so I can run that around a bit. But anyway, the number 12 is nearing completion. I've pretty much got everything on it, all the details, and it's almost ready for primer. Unfortunately, as I'm filming this, the very first very large rainstorm is blowing into the Southern California area. The very first large rainstorm of the year, I should say, is blowing into the San Diego area where I live, so it's not ideal painting weather, so I'm just gonna wait until next week when I can have a little bit better weather to paint this thing. Plus, I gotta wait for the blue paint to come in. I had to order more of that. It's Grand Trunk Western Blue is what I'm using for the Quincy Blue, or Amador Central Blue, or whatever, whenever it was painted that. This is as some of you may know, this is a Pacific Northwest Resins SW7 shell on a Proto 2000 chassis. I guess from what I've read that there's really not a good plastic SW7 available in HO scale. The closest would be Broadway Limited, but there's, as I've gathered, has a lot of prototype specific issues with the shell, and it's one of those, just one style, and then they put all the road names on it, and they don't change any of the details for specific roads. And I figured this way it's a little cheaper, and I can also do all the detail work to it, outright. I don't have to strip it down and everything. So this is the Pacific Northwest Resins SW7 shell. I've got most of all the details on the trademark sheet metal pilots on number 12, the Leslie 3 chime. This is the little photo etch sheet. It doesn't come with it. It's sold by KV Models, which does a bunch of photo etch sheets for different locomotives and different brands. I think the guy that owns that company, I read he did the master for this resin shell. So he's kind of behind the project, and he offers a sheet specific to this locomotive. And of course it comes with photo etched steps, photo etched radiator core and grill, and then of course the fan and grill on the front, and then all the little details that are on the hood, as far as the lift rings, the handrail, and the little even door handles for the louver doors. And pretty much got all that on, windshield wipers too. And of course the Quincy Railroad locomotives have the deck mounted handrails too. So I had to solder these up. They're piece by piece soldered up, which is real tedious, and I've been dreading doing this for a long time because I haven't done this in several years. I really hate trying to square everything up and solder the tiny pieces and just get the right amount of solder on it that it's structurally sound, but not so much that it makes a big glob and it looks horrible. So that's the status of number 12. I'm excited about getting that locomotive going. I'm also working on some little details west switch stands. I salvaged 2 off my old layout, 2 that are painted, and then working on some other ones for the other switches. Temporarily added a track to complete the main line on the runaround so I could use it, since seemingly MB Klein, which I ordered the additional turnout and the track from has been really slow at getting orders out recently. I don't know if that's because of the holiday or because of the pandemic or what. So they just shipped all that stuff that I ordered a few weeks ago. So I put this track in just so I could start operating and, you know, have some fun with the layout before I pull it out and put the permanent track in with the switch there. Other than that, I haven't been doing anything on the layout itself, but I wanted to take this opportunity to run pretty much what the operations are going to be and kind of narrate them, so I hope you enjoy it. The crew starts up number 5 at the Union Pacific Mill, East Quincy engine house. As soon as the main reservoir has enough air to safely operate at the independent brake, the engineer eases the number 5 outside the engine house. The number 5 runs out to the runaround track just outside the mill site, where 3 empty center beams from the day before are stored on the runaround. The crew lines the switch and the number 5 makes a joint on the end of the center beams. Since these cars have been sitting overnight, number 5 throttles up to charge them up. After the cut of cars has been sufficiently charged, the number 5 shoves them into the loading track at the mill. Once the cars are spotted, the number 5 runs light up to Quincy Junction to meet the Union Pacific local with empties. Short time later, the number 5 returns with the cut of 4 empties that the Union Pacific dropped off at Quincy Junction. The number 5 spots the 4 empties on the runaround track at East Quincy for storage. Once the cars are secured for movement, the number 5 cuts away, runs back to pick up the 3 cars on the loading track that have since been loaded in the time that the number 5 ran up to Quincy Junction to get the empties. With that, the number 5 takes the 3 loaded center beams up to Quincy Junction to drop off for later pickup by the Union Pacific. A short time later, the number 5 returns light once again to the runaround track. The crew lines the switch, and the number 5 makes a join on the 4 empty center beams that it dropped off earlier that day and begins shoving them into the loading track at the mill. And since the loading track only has a spot for 3 cars, the 4th extra empty center beam is returned to the runaround track. It'll be loaded later when more empty cars are available. And with that, the crew is done for the day and returns back to the engine house on the mill property. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and this is just a glimpse of what the operations will be like. I know they're not totally to their fullest, but like, subscribe, comment, and we'll see you next time. Bye.